Kevin Young has entered the search for the Bulls' next head coach. Me and Pat are going to discuss that. Plus, a lot of y'all are talking about the Bulls trading for Chet Holmgren. We'll discuss that. And what's wrong with y'all? We're going to talk about all that and more on today's Locked On Bulls.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily Chicago Bulls podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for tuning in to Locked On Bulls, member of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every single day. That is Pat, the designer, host, and creator of the Windy City Breeze and host of the Chicago Bears podcast over at ESPN 1000. I'm Haize, host, creator of Chicago Bulls Central, Chicago Bears Central YouTube pages and podcasts. Pat, let's jump right into it, man. Late Friday, Kevin Young's name, who was the head coach of BYU, entered the chat. Now, a lot of people initially react to this, another college coach, but he spent 2 years in BYU where he's had a well above 500 record, made the NCAA tournament in both years. But I think the thing that people are overlooking, he was a very long tenured NBA assistant coach, so much so that he worked himself up to being the associate head coach under Monty Williams with the Phoenix Suns. And he was somebody that the Phoenix Suns wanted to keep on so much that when they went on their head coaching search, much like Michael Reinsdorf tried to do here, they were trying to convince any head coach that they interviewed to keep Kevin Young on. He has a history of development in the NBA. He did the same thing in college. I don't know if he pops up as even one of my top 3 prospects, Pat, but I do think that he's starting to get this bad kind of moniker from Bulls fans because of the Billy Donovan PTSD as just a college coach, when in reality, he's a lot more than just that.
I mean, at this point, even Billy Donovan is not just a college coach. Like he wins a lot at the NBA level. He just didn't win a lot with us. We'll see if he jumps back in and starts his winning ways again. It'll be magical how Billy Donovan pops back up in Coach of the Year conversations with a competent organization. But I do think, and this is what the second I saw this, I went, oh, they're trying to figure out things about AJ DeBanster that they know only a head coach would know.
That's a natural conclusion to go to. I don't know if I at this point in the stage believe that that's the only reason why, but it does make sense that would be a large reason.
Listen, I don't take it as Kevin Young is going to be a serious candidate. Maybe he does end up as the head coach of the Bulls. He's 44 years old. He still fits that young coach mindset timeline, right? You've seen what he can do in college. At this point, college is a professional sport, so I wouldn't be tripping on him having to deal with guys making money and things like that. You dealt with the number 1 overall pick coming in here. If his scheme works, his scheme works. But to me, when I see this, I don't view this as you're giving him a real shot. All of a sudden, he's going to sweep the rest of the candidates out of the way that have already been interviewed. I think that this is, hey, we want to interview you. And there's a lot of questions in there where it's like, well, what's your scheme? Well, how did AJ run this? Well, what are your thoughts on this? Well, what did AJ think about that? Because you're trying to information gather as much as you can. We've seen the Bears do this at time. We've seen NBA coaches do this, or NBA organizations do this just about every single year, where they're like, we'd love to interview you for an assistant job. You know why it usually doesn't happen? Because no one cares when you hire another assistant.
Yeah. I mean, listen, like I said, I get the mindset of it, but to me, I guess maybe I'd be more in line with that if the Bulls had one of the top 2 picks. I don't think at this point you need to do much reconnaissance on AJ DeBanster, and it's not like you can't reach out to a college coach to pick their brain about a former player. So I like when you look at the fact that James Borrego and Wes Unseld Jr. are on the finalist list, I'm going to believe that anybody has a legit chance at least to interview for the job. So that's why I looked into more of Kevin Young and what he did, because he does fit also the profile that Graham's looked at. Young has had a history of development, has been a storied assistant. He at one point was the Chris Quinn in a lot of ways. He was voted as the young assistant that would do the best as a head coach. He just never got that role in that job. So like he has had an NBA coaching career where he has gotten notoriety for what he's done as an NBA assistant. So I think that does stand out there.
No, 100%. Listen, he fits the bill. I don't think that this is the Eddie George situation, right, where the Bears were looking to draft one of the running backs that Eddie George had coached. They were like, we'll give you an interview. Come on in here.
Yeah, now they were clearly on that one.
Also, you're black. We got to interview a black guy. Get in here. Like I don't think that it's that. I do think that this is, somebody who fits the profile that the Bulls want to bring in. I would say this. if he all of a sudden made your finalist list, I would be very much like, you hated everyone else because you went a completely different direction. You went and maybe this is the reality of it.
Completely different direction based off.
Well, you went a completely different direction as far as like, we have these names. Sean Sweeney got hired, and maybe that shocked you or stumbled you or whatever it was, and then you were like, we got to add another one. Like, we got to find another guy that fits the bill because we had a lot of eggs in that basket. Not all our eggs, but there was a lot of them that were in that basket. And so, hey, I also wondered, like, when I heard this name pop up, the other thought I had was, are they getting no's? Are they getting people that, and I get it, there's only 32 of these jobs. It is a very high-profile job. It is the head coach of the Chicago Bulls. But when I saw Kevin Young pop up, I was like, I wonder if Chris Quinn is like, yeah, probably not. I wonder if Tiago Splitter's like, yeah, I'm going to see how this Portland thing plays out. Yeah, I wonder if the Bulls are starting to get no's because it's a two-way street. I can offer you the job. That don't mean you got to take it.
That's true. That's true. And, of course, a lot of people looking at it like the Bulls are dragging their feet for all we know. Like, Sean, and the fact that Sean Sweeney, for example, took the Magic job, for all we know, Sean Sweeney could have been the one like, I'm not going to say anything yes or no until I hear from this Magic job. We don't know, right? Like people naturally, and I understand people naturally go right to blaming the Bulls for not doing something right because of how this franchise has ran for so long. But, there are other jobs out there. And I also think I wouldn't be surprised if the Dallas Mavericks job gets filled before the Chicago Bulls job too, because they have Cooper Flagg and they have a very high pick in this draft. And you could have Cooper and his running mate. And now, the Mavericks, if I'm not mistaken, don't have another first round pick until like 2030 after this year of their own. So you got to really believe in those two guys.
That is a good question. Hey, I ain't seen Dallas draft board, but it can't be great.
Yeah, it can't be.
Did they get no? Because they didn't get no picks for Luka.
Yeah, they spent a lot of picks to build that championship team around Luka when they went out and got all those role players for him. So I don't think they have another outright. Technically, I think it's like protections on some of their pick, but they don't have their own first round pick outright. So I think like 2030, 2031.
OKC has the right to swap in 2028. They don't have one in 2027. OKC has the right to swap first round picks. Y'all pissing me off now. Houston will receive the most favorable of the two picks in 2029. So they have first round picks, but they had a first round pick from the Lakers with no protections.
Yeah, in the Luka trade.
I don't even remember them getting a first round pick in the Luka trade.
The way people talk about it is like, you got nothing back for Luka, which I understand.
I mean, you kind of did. You got nothing back for Luka, but I don't remember a pick being attached to that.
Yeah. So.
2030, 20. Okay, yeah. They don't even. No, 2031 is the next time they have
just their own pick outright. Is 2031.
Own pick, nothing attached to it. That's tough.
Yeah, see. Yeah, I knew it was some crazy, weird protections they have going on there. But, I mean, we'll see. At the end of the day, like it comes back to, I know people are like, why are you interviewing so many candidates? Because of this. Because there are jobs that are better than yours. Like if for example, if the Bulls went in and said, we're going to interview Sean Sweeney, Dave Blish, and Chris Quinn, and that's it. And you have jobs of the Dallas Mavericks, the Orlando Magic out there, and it's like, okay, yeah, like those guys, you could be sitting around waiting a long time. So you want to interview have a wide range of candidates because it's not like you're the only job out there, and you're definitely probably not the most favorable job out there either. So.
And coaches aren't trying to prove that they can fix you. Coaches are trying to prove that they can coach. You know what I mean? If I don't have the right players for my system, I can't coach. I don't want to teach a kid. Unless I think that kid is going to be, like you said, Cooper Flagg, right? He's a generational player that the system is you and we build the system around you. Like Sean Sweeney taking the Orlando job, I instantly went, yeah, that makes sense. Paolo Banchero's there, Franz Wagner's there. Like there's so much talent on Orlando. The coach has been the problem the entire time and everyone can see it. Like, for what it's worth, and I love us as Bulls fans, but like Modest is nowhere near Cooper Flagg. There is no player on this team that is anywhere close.
For a little while is crazy to me.
There is no player on this team that is anywhere close. And that's why it's funny to me when Muzz are like, well, maybe this is Modest's team. When whoever the number 4 overall pick is, or whatever pick the Bulls take, I guarantee you they probably are going to try and build around that kid. Yeah. And I hope Modest is a part of it. I hope they bring him with them. And I think he's going to be a very good player. But you're probably building around the 4th overall pick.
The 4th overall
doing
pick,
it right.
The 4th overall pick in a generational draft. Why would you build around that guy?
You're doing it right. Now here's the reality. We haven't done it right for a long time.
That's true as well. That's true.
But if you're doing it right, you should be building around the kid who seemed like a magical bean to the beanstalk that the Bulls need.
That is hilarious, man. We will see what happens there, Pat. We're going to continue the conversation, though. We got to get into these Chet Holmgren trade rumors that have popped up. And I'll say this. I hate aggregators, but we're going to talk about that right after this. Before we get into that, we got to get to a message from one of our sponsors, and that is BetterHelp. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Summer is supposed to be the season where everyone looks forward to vacations, longer days, more time outside, more plans with the family and friends. But for a lot of people, summer can also feel surprisingly overwhelming. Schedules get packed, routines change, and sometimes it feels like you're trying to do everything at once instead of enjoying the season. That's why it's important to make time for yourself too. And therapy can help you create a version of summer that feels manageable and enjoyable. Summer can fill up fast before you even realize it. It's easy to say yes to everything and forget to slow down for yourself. And having time to reset mentally can make a huge difference in how you experience the season. With over 30,000 therapists and more than 6 million people served, BetterHelp makes it easy to get matched with a licensed therapist based on your needs and preferences. And if it's the match that doesn't feel right, you can switch at any time. So you don't have to say yes to everything this summer. Find support in therapy. Sign up and get 10% off at BetterHelp.com/LockedOnNBA. That's BetterHelp.com/LockedOnNBA. Also got to talk to you guys about another one of our sponsors, and that is Game Time. There's nothing like playing basketball live. The intensity, the crowd, the rivalries, it's a completely different experience when you're in the building. The NBA playoffs are where unforgettable moments happen, and being there in person just hits different. Game Time makes it incredibly easy to find tickets, even for those hard-to-get playoff games. In just a few taps, and with the Game Time guarantee, you know you're getting 100% authentic tickets on time at the best price. Game Time makes it easy to find great seats in just a couple of minutes. One thing I really like is that the price you see is the price you pay. Fees are included, so there's no surprise fees at checkout. The seat view feature is a game changer too. You can actually see what your view will look like before you buy. And the zone deals are great if you're trying to save. You pick the section, Game Time picks the seat, and you still get a great deal. Plus, with the lowest price guarantee and ticket coverage, you can feel confident every time you're buying tickets. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code. That's LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download Game Time today. More Locked On Bulls coming up next. All right, Pat. Chet put up one of the most horrific game sevens that you will ever see from a star player, an all-star ever. But it's not just about the one game or the one series. It's just about Wemby sees Chet and says, I take that personally. But Chet over the course of the season, almost 18 points per game, 9 rebounds. He had a 109 defensive rating as a player, which is elite. When he was on the court, the OKC Thunder had a 106 defensive rating as a team. That dropped down to almost 112 when he's off the court. And keep in mind, the Thunder are an elite defensive team all over the place. Yeah. So there's no doubt that Chet is talented, but he comes with a $41.5 million contract with 5 years left on it. And ultimately, Pat, Chet is really damn good, but he's not a number one to build around. He's just not that. He doesn't change the ceiling for the Chicago Bulls. If you added Chet to the Chicago Bulls right now and traded, let's just say the 4th overall pick, you added Chet instead of that, the Bulls aren't a favorite in the Eastern Conference to go to the finals. They're definitely not a finals competition. They're a playoff team for sure. I think they make the playoffs, but the ceiling hasn't really increased yet. And I get it. Who's to say Cam Boozer or Caleb Wilson will ever be as good as Chet? You can make that conversation, whatever it is. But Pat, for me, especially if you're talking about the 4th overall pick, it's a no go for me, dog. How you feeling, Pat?
Listen, the mindset that people are doing this with is you're pairing Giddey and Chet back together, and you know we saw for a little bit kind of right when Shea was out and Chet was in, Giddey was playing, how that relationship could work, and I think Chet probably has some of his best numbers. You're living in a world kind of coming out of what we said in the last segment where you think that this is built around Josh Giddey. This is built with Josh Giddey. A player like Chet Holmgren would be great for Josh Giddey, but so what? A player like Cam Boozer should probably be great for Josh Giddey. A player like Caleb Wilson should probably be great for Josh Giddey, and Josh Giddey will be great for that player. Again, you're talking about players that you're going to build with versus building around. You're not going to turn Chet into the focal point of a team. Heck, I don't even know why you would want to turn Chet into the focal point of a team. And I do think
he doesn't want to be there. Like, Chet doesn't need the ball to be successful. That is one of the benefits of Chet. If you try to turn Chet into a franchise player, it's like, oh, we're going to you every possession. You're going to get exposed very quickly if that's what you're planning on doing.
Yeah, and listen, like the conversation around Chet, every time OKC loses, everybody looks at Chet and goes, hey, bro, like, you got to do more. You got to take more shots. You got to step up. It's never been who he is. He's the second option on the team, but realistically, he's probably 3 or offensively.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Well, I'm saying just he's the second guy. Like when you think about the team, you go Shea, Chet. Those are your 1 and 2, right? But then when you think about offensively on the team, you go, well, Shea, Jay Will. I'd probably throw. Maybe Chet is in there 3.
In the playoffs, Caruso was more of an offensive threat.
And that's what I was gonna say. I would probably throw Caruso in 3 in these playoffs, but maybe like in the natural scheme of things, you think Chet is 3 in that situation because Chet is the guy that's going to do everything else and sprinkle some offense on top. Now, I did want to see, because your identity is defensive, I did want to see you go at Wemby a little bit more. I did want to see you try. Like, all I asked for it, because you're never going to stop him. Try. But I think people think that Chet is something that he's not, and maybe it's because they don't watch as many Oklahoma City games as we do, right? Like, when the NBA season is on, I got 3 TVs down here. I'm adding a 4th in here on the other wall. Like, there's so much sports that are going to be on. Like, I wonder if it's you hear the name and so you assume he's that guy. I'm more willing to have a conversation with you about trading for Jalen Williams with the 4th overall pick than Chet Holmgren.
Yeah, because Jalen has that feel where it's like, all right, like he's a really good number 2. If you gave him the keys at number 1, you think, hey, you probably still have some stuff going there, right? But even then, like, Pat, we heard from Bryson himself, we're not going to skip step. Trading the 4th overall pick for Chet, again, a player who does not turn you into a Eastern Conference finalist contender, that's skipping a step that you don't need to make right now. It'd be different if the Bulls were 1 player away and we're like, listen, we're 1 player away. Instead of taking the 4th overall pick, let's get a player that's going to help bring us over the top some. That's not where we are. That's not the type of trade we need to make right now. I get it. Like, he brings a lot defensively. That's why I started off with the positives. He brings a lot that we're missing defensively, an elite rim protector, a switchable big, all that type of stuff. But another thing I think people are forgetting too, he's not a center. Yes, when he came into the league, everybody thought he was going to be able to play center because of the height. He is only 208 pounds, and there's a reason why they have Isaiah Hartenstein and drafted Thomas Sorber, because it's clear you do not want to play Chet as your full-time center. He can play some minutes there.
Yeah.
But in the way that the league is going, even with the kind of more mobile centers, you need to be tougher than that. And I get people. I'm not going to call Chet soft because he plays really good defense 98% of the time. He
was soft in this.
Oh yeah, but that's what I was going to get into. Yeah. He's soft against Wemby. Like, Wemby is a terrible matchup for him, but still, it's not the type of move that I think the Bulls should be making right now.
It is. I think here is my concern with Chet too. Like, it is I saw you mentally shut down. Not to say that you weren't trying at all, but literally, you realized you didn't have the matchup and the fight left you.
Yeah,
that's not a player I'm looking to hitch my wagon to either. Like, if you are only the big dog when you got a pack of dogs around you, that means you're not a big dog. And when you got Shea and you got Jay Will and you got Lou Dort taking out ankles and you got like all of these pieces, that's when you want to buck up and bark and be big. But when it was like, hey, buddy, like, it's kind of just you because we don't got Jay Will. Lou Dort ain't playing that great right now. Caruso, we're hoping that he can, get it back together, but you got to come out. Chet wasn't the same player.
And I'm not saying he may never be as good as Chet. If Noah SK turns into Chet, it's amazing. But at the same time, it's like, at this point, just develop what you have. Let's see. Let's give this a couple of years first, and then let's make this move. But I want to switch this and ask you this, Pat. Now, we both agree, number 4 overall pick off the table. Is there any move that you see being realistic that you think the Bulls could make for Chet, not including the number 4 overall pick, that you would be open for? Whether it's if it's not going to take Giddey back, but if it is saying let's say they are willing to take Noah the 15th overall and a future first. Would you do that for Chet if you keep the number 4 overall pick?
No. Because I think, now listen, he's good against just about everybody except Wemby. So like, welcome to the rest of the NBA. That's very good against everybody except Wemby. But man, it will hurt his persona moving forward. And I got to see how he bounces back before, I see, kind of what player he's going to be. When you get beat mentally, sometimes that changes your whole career. We've seen that happen a lot.
It can change
in this
the good or the
NBA.
bad. Right, he can go into this offseason and be like, "F it, he ain't gonna punk me no more.
He never gonna punk me again. I'm gonna go be a dog."
And he could come back. We could see Chet at media day and be like, "Did Chet just put on 15 pounds of muscle?"
Yeah,
we could see something like that, right?
Yeah,
or like you said, it could be the other way where it's like he's just never the same again.
I have seen. I'll say this. I'm trying to remember who he was going up against, but there was the one finals where Andrew Bynum got dog walked. He got worked out, and it was like, oh dang, like that was kind of crazy to see. Oh, it was versus Perkins. When they were playing the set, he got that first final, he got like dog walk. You're like, okay, that's kind of crazy. And I swear to you, he was never the same player again. Andrew Bynum's career ended at like 28 or 29.
Yeah, also injuries played a big part of that. But I definitely get what you mean as far as that series, and it changes his mentality for sure.
And then I say this, if anything, I'm very much something on Hartenstein right now. Hartenstein was dishing that ball around at high float. Like, if I can get any player off of the Thunder, I'm something on Hartenstein right now.
That's fair.
But, hey, man, listen, we'll see what ends up happening. We got to talk about this Caleb Wilson. I said the right one. Caleb Wilson and his desire to be in Chicago. Talk about that coming up next. First, we got to give you a word from our sponsors. And listen, the first one is Quo. Missed calls, slow follow-ups, or silent killers for a business. That's how money gets left on the table without people even realizing it. That's why today's episode is brought to you by Quo, spelled Q-U-O, the business communication system built so you never miss a call. Quo helps businesses keep every conversation organized by letting your entire team manage calls and texts from one shared number. No drop messages, missed opportunity, or disconnected communication is designed for how modern businesses actually operate. And listen, the part that I love, everything lives in one clean thread. Calls, texts, voicemails. The whole team sees the conversation, so nothing falls through the crack. Not to the crack. That's a different conversation. It just makes your business feel more organized and responsive. Money on the line. Always say hello with Quo. Try Quo for free. Plus, get 20% off your first 6 months when you go to quo.com/lockedonnba. That's QUO.com/lockedonnba. Now for the Jaden Ivey portion of the show. We also got to tell you guys all about 5 Hour Energy. And listen, there are certain flavors that instantly feel like summer. And for a lot of people, those classic red, white, and blue freeze pops are right at the top of the list. Sweet cherry, lime, blue raspberry. It's one of those nostalgic summer flavors that everybody recognizes. Now 5 Hour Energy is bringing that flavor combination into the new Firework Freeze 5 Hour Energy shot, blending sweet cherry, zesty lime, and electric blue raspberry into one refreshing shot inspired by these iconic freeze pops. Listen, when the summer gets here, you know what you're looking for, and you need a little bit of energy to get you the rest of the way. Ignite your taste buds with the flavor of summer. Get a Firework Freeze 5 Hour Energy shot today. For more information, visit 5hourenergy.com. More Locked On Bulls coming up next.
All right, Pat. So last topic before we get out of here, which I think is one of the most obvious ones, is why I threw it at the end here. A word came out over the weekend that Caleb Wilson actually wants to be a Chicago Bull. Pat, I don't know what's been more obvious. Like when Caleb showed up to, if I'm not mistaken, was it the draft combine in the jumpsuit that looked like Chicago Bulls warm ups from the 90s. Yeah. Then on top of that, like, like all this stuff, like Caleb Wilson clearly wants to be Chicago, but now it's the most likely out thing for him anyway. Fourth. Typically the fourth guy in most mocks is going to the Chicago Bulls at number 4. No surprise there.
Yeah. The
last time that I can remember a player signaling this strong that they wanted to be a Chicago Bull was Michael Porter Jr. Take the guy that wants to be on your team.
Well, I guess signaling, yeah. I'll say this. There's two options on this. One, he's looking at this and he's going, this is the team that I think I'm going to get the most opportunity with. This is the team that I probably get the most chance to prove who I am. There's some talent there. We can pick up the pieces and make this move forward. I can be a god if I win in Chicago. Or, like you said, the most likely outcome is anyway, you get drafted to Chicago.
Yeah.
And he realizes this. And he is already so locked in for your organization that he's like, I only want to be a Bull. And if that is the case, either situation, you got a heck of a player coming in mentally. And I think that people don't realize all these dudes are talented. All these dudes have skill. They can hoop up the best hooper you know on their best day. Don't let these YouTube videos get you fooled. Where you see mugs go out there and they be trying to hack the mess out of players and do all that stuff. Like, these mugs are different levels of athlete. But it's the mindset that makes the difference in the superstars versus the stars versus all stars a couple of years versus. And I'll tell you what, everything I've seen about Caleb Wilson, everything that has been talked about Caleb Wilson has been that this kid has got it, of course, on the basketball court. That's why you're a top 4 pick. But as far as being the face of a franchise, as far as being a leader, this is the young man that you want in your locker room because he has an intensity that reminds people of KG. And I think that's more so what we're seeing when people go, oh, he's like a KG player. Because when you watch him, you don't go, oh, yeah, everything is just
play
KG.
style. It's the mentality part of it, right? Like, and me, you've talked about this, like, you need your tone setter to be a bit of a head case sometimes. And Caleb, we talked about that during the season when it was talked about, right? Like, so like Caleb Wilson has that, but I also think, to your point, Caleb Wilson's probably looking at the situation saying, hey, where am I most likely to go? Chicago. Then looked at it and said, okay, me and Modest as the forwards works, right? Really good. We can switch long, lengthy guys there. I need to work on my jump shot, but who's going to be able to get me ball around the rim? Oh, they got Josh Giddey and Trey Jones, both two really good passing point guards there. And they got the 15th overall pick, so they could probably find a big that can help us on the back end with some weak side. Like, it's a really good situation for Caleb Wilson, both and he's walking into a team that needs the leadership, that needs the edge, but also a team that's maybe there to help cover up some of his weaknesses. Modest has turned himself into a really solid three-point shooter. I mean, you've talked about, like, get the attempts down, maybe 1.5 attempts, and then he'll probably become more like a 37% three-point shooter, which is really good, which means that you can move Modest to the three. You can then open up. But we saw the best basketball for Modest last year was him at the three, Jalen at the four. Now, Jalen can stretch the ball a little bit more than Caleb Wilson, but you can see where those similarities could overlap some there.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, like, it truly is. I think even that, right? Caleb Wilson coming in doesn't really have the jump shot. Like, the one thing I love about Modest is he goes into every offseason, he works his tail off to try and get better. He talks a game that is, hey, I'm going to be the guy in this city. I'm going to be the next face of the Chicago Bulls. And I hope that he is. I hope he breaks out this year and has that, who was like that Ja Morant jump where he went from 16 points a game to, I think, 25 points a game in 1 year and somehow won most improved player. It was like he was pretty good last year. But, like, the reality of it is Caleb Wilson, I think, attacks every offseason, probably is going to attack. And maybe not this offseason. You're probably not going to see too much development because of everything you have to go through for the combine coming into the season. But as we see him get comfortable in this NBA, like, I could see Caleb Wilson developing a jump shot. I could see Caleb Wilson being a three-point threat at some point in his career because he's got that mindset of, I can't do it right now. I'm working at it. His form looks great.
The form only looks good. So,
he's already been with a shooting coach. I think at the combine he did a really good job shooting the three as well. So it's something that you expect to be there in his game at some point. It's just, I don't know if it's going to be legit or not. You know what I mean? Like, Modest improved the three. I wouldn't say he's a legit 3-point shooter.
For Caleb Wilson, the thing that he needs to do is he needs to develop enough of a 3-point shot to where if Modest is slashing and teams are like, oh, we're just going to collapse on Modest and leave Caleb Wilson open at the three, he can hit him. That's probably going to happen 1 or 2 times, 2 to 3 times a game in the long run. If you can be a 34, 35-ish 3-point per shooter in that chance to keep defenses honest, that's probably the most he needs. Now, if you take it anywhere further than that, Now we cooking.
I'll say this. The reality of it is he could be Jalen Smith as far as a shooter.
Yeah, I can see that being. Yeah,
Jalen Smith is fine. Like, I hate when he get gung-ho. Jalen Smith knocked down a couple of threes, and if we being legit, Jalen Smith be like, all right, it's time to start shooting.
Now,
no, we didn't ask for this.
Granted, this season it did fall a lot more for him in the prior season.
Oh,
but
yeah.
There's times where Jalen be like, oh, bet I hit the first two. I'm dirt for the rest of the game.
Don't let Jalen hit 2 in a row. Jalen hit 2 in a row. He's taking 9. Like, that's the reality of it. You lock yourself in. Jalen Smith over on 3-point attempts tonight. If he knocks down the first 2, he's hilarious. Taking 9 of them. But no, like I love that Caleb Wilson is promoting or being front facing about, his realities of potentially coming to Chicago. I love that he's all in on this. I love that it seems like how he's talking. He's looking to keep on and carry on that UNC to Chicago tradition that we've seen for 4 players at this point?
4? Who's the other 2?
Jordan. Well, it would be 4 with him, I guess I'm saying. Jordan, Kobe. Well, I don't know. Am I tweaking on one? No, Jay Will is Duke. Are those the only 2 UNC guys?
I mean, I'm sure we've had other UNC guys, but I
drafted high with expectation.
Yeah. I think that's the only 2 off the top of my head, but I'm sure the chat will let us know if we tripping.
I feel like I'm missing a big one. Of course, Jordan. Well, it is what it is. But hey, man, appreciate y'all for tuning in. The show, love as always. Hit the like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Follow us on everything at Locked On Bulls. You can follow me on everything at Pat the Designer.
You guys can follow me at CEO Haize. Make sure you guys go to lockedonbulls.supercast.com to sign up for the Everydayers Club, where you get exclusive access to the Locked On Discord and an ad-free version of the show. Locked On Bulls is free and available on every podcasting app and platform of your choice, as well as YouTube, the Odyssey app, Amazon Fire TV, Roku TV, and Fubo TV, meaning anywhere you want us, you can get us. We'll catch you guys bright and early tomorrow morning, y'all. Hopefully with some coach news at some point this week. Hopefully. Peace, y'all.
Maybe. Scott Williams was the other one I was thinking.
Okay.
Bulls picked him up in 90, undrafted though.